Good day, everyone. Good day to our dear Professor Mr. Mildred Tabalies. First of all, I would like to introduce myself first. I am Maria Rachel Centino Telias, and I am reporting the continuation of the legal basis of education. The first topic of mine is the Philippine education recognizes the natural right and duty of parents to rear their children. 1987 Constitution, Article 2, Section 12, the state recognizes the sanctity of family life and shall protect and strengthen the family as basic autonomous social institution. It shall equally protect the life of mother and the life of unborn to conceive. The natural and primary right and duty of parents in the rearing of youth for civic efficiency and the development of moral character shall receive the support of the government, meaning that the family is essential to national life. The right to life is sacred, and parents are the first teachers and moral guides of their children, so the state's duty is to help them fulfill their role. Within this, it includes the sanctity of life, meaning the second topic is all about the Philippine education as night, elementary, and high school. Normally, permits to open private elementary and high school during daytime do not carry with the right to operate evening schools. The purpose is the night schools have a chance for working student, out-of-school youth, or adults to continue or finish their basic education. In this section, night schools make the education more accessible and inclusive, helping Filipinos continue learning regardless of age or schedule. So, the schedule of the night class are usually held in the evening, often from around 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So, the goal of this night class is to promote education for making sure everyone, regardless the age, job, or schedule, has access to basic education. So, in this night class, there are The third topic is the Philippine education provides non-formal education for special people. Non-formal education in the Philippines refers to organized educational activities that take place outside the formal system. It is designed to meet the learning needs of the people who cannot attain to finish regular schooling due to age, work, poverty, or other life circumstances, meaning that the Philippine education system offers learning opportunities outside the regular or formal school system to help individuals who cannot attend or complete regular schooling. 1987 Constitution, Article 14, Section 2, Paragraph 4 to 5, previously on Presidential Decree Number 11339, this section shows that education in the Philippines is not limited to the classroom. The government aims to make learning accessible to everyone, including the out-of-school youth learners, through alternative and skills-based programs. So, meaning, when we say specialized education system, it refers to programs who support system designed to meet the unique learning needs of certain groups of learners who requires assistance beyond the regular curriculum. Also, in the Philippine education system, these services are provided to ensure that every learner, regardless of ability, disability, or social circumstance, has access to quality education. Then, the fifth topic. The fifth topic is the Philippine education provides professional advancement of teachers. In 1987 Constitution, Article 14, Section 5, Paragraph 4, the state shall enhance the right of teacher to professional advancement and shall also protect the interest of the non-teaching academic personnel, meaning that the government must help both teacher and school staff improve professionally and ensure they are fairly protected in their work, giving them the opportunities for training, seminars, and workshops. Professional advancement, meaning that the process of improving and developing one's career, skills, and knowledge in choosing profession. Also, it is growth or progress a person makes in their job or career through learning, experience, and achievement. Professional advancement is the growth or progress of a person in the choosing job or profession. Getting promotion is one of the professional advancement of a teacher. When you get a promotion or a higher position, it is a reward or recognition for one's hard work and ability. Continuing education also helps our professional advancement of teacher. Ongoing learning that helps individuals growth, adapt and perform better in their choosing career, improving performance expertise in one's field. It is about enhancing your abilities and becoming more professional and competent in your line of work. Next topic is about the Philippine education allows publication in the school campus. Schools, public and private, are free to put up student organs, but publication should be in accordance with the student government constitutions approved by their respective schools, accepted ethics of journalism, school rules and regulations, and the general laws of the land, meaning that the students are given the opportunity to publish their own school papers, newsletters, and magazines within the school. Also, students can write, edit, and publish articles, news, opinions, poems, and other writings about school life, social issues, and student concerns as part of their freedom of expression and academic growth. Revised Penal Code of the Philippines prohibits the publication. Number 1, inciting the people to rebellion, Article 138. This means that it is a crime to encourage or pursue people to rebel against the government, even if you don't personally join the rebellion. The second one is the seditious libel, Article 142. It is a written, printed, or published article that criticize or attacks the government or its officials in a way that stirs up hatred, discontent, or rebellion among the people. The third one is the unlawful utterances, Article 154, meaning the law punishes people who spread false informations or publish materials that can cause panic, rebellion, or harm to public order. Number 4. Immoral doctrine, publication, and exhibit, Article 201. This law punishes people who spread or show obscene, indecent materials in public that corrupt people's moral or offend good customs. Example of this is promoting ideas or teaching that encourage adultery, sexual immorality, or selling pornographic magazines or videos in public. Number 5. Threatening to publish and offering to prevent publication of an article for free extortion. Article 356. These articles 356 makes it a crime to threaten to publish or offer to stop the publication of a damaging article in exchange of money, because that is a form of blackmail or extortion. Next is number 6. The next topic also is the Philippine education strives to be of high quality. When we say strives to be of high quality, that the government and the school work hard to make sure that students receive the best learning experience possible, one that builds knowledge and good character and helps them succeed in life and serve the nation. The high-quality education includes good teachers, update curriculum, adequate facilities, fair access, strong values. Why good teachers includes in high-quality education? Because having a good teacher is also having a better learner in the future. Update curriculum. Why update curriculum? These are the lessons that are modern, useful, and suited for today's world. The adequate facilities is designed for classroom, libraries, equipment that support learnings for the student. The number 4 is fair access. When we say fair access, education for our learners regardless of income, gender, and the location. The last one is strong values. When we say strong values, forming students with honesty, discipline, and patriotism. Article 14, Section 1, the state says that that right of all citizens to quality education of all level is protected and promoted. These are safeguards for quality education. Number 1, minimum requirements to be fulfilled before a school or course is allowed to open, such as site, buildings, library, laboratory, equipment, and other facilities, and also qualification of teachers and administrations. Meaning that the schools or course cannot open unless it meets the certain minimum standard, such as having a proper buildings, facilities, and qualified staff to make sure students receive safe and quality education. The second one is report mechanism required of teacher. Batasang Pambansa 232, Section 16, Paragraph 3, and administrators, Batasang Pambansa 232, Section 17, Paragraph 5, that provide a basis for evaluation of performance. So, meaning teachers are. Next topic is the Philippine education encourages regional planning. The 1987 Constitution, Section 5, Paragraph 1, the state shall take into account regional and sectoral needs and conditions and shall encourage local planning in the development of educational policies and programs. These educational plans and programs are designed to consider the unique needs and resources of each region in the Philippines, because not all parts of the country are the same. Some areas are rural, others are urban. Some rich in agriculture, others in industry. So education should be planned differently in each region to best serve the people who live there. The government creates educational policies and programs. Number 1, consider the different needs of each region and sector. Number 2, recognize local conditions. Number 3, encourage local participation in planning. Example of this is like in Mindanao. Mindanao might focus on agriculture and peace education, while in Metro Manila, education emphasizes on technology and business. Also, in Visayas, schools may focus on the tourism and fisheries. Regional planning education means decentralizing educational decisions so that each region can plan programs suited to its people, culture, and economy. Next topic is the Philippine education allows optional religious instruction in public schools. 1997 Constitution, Article 14, Section 3, Paragraph 3, at the option expressed by the parents or guardians, religion shall be taught to their children or wards in public elementary and high schools within the regular class hours by instructors designated or approved by the religious authorities of the religion to which the children or wards belong, without additional cost to the government. Meaning that the Philippine education respects freedom to religious by not requiring religious instruction in public schools and ensuring students and parents have the right to choose. In 1935 Constitution, Article 14, Section 5, all educational institutions shall be under the supervision and subject to regulation by the state. The government shall establish and maintain a complete and adequate system of public education and shall provide at least free public primary instruction and citizenship training to adult citizens. Optional religious instruction shall be maintained in the public schools as now authorized by the law. So also in this provision ensures that the Philippine educational system respect the religious right and beliefs of families by allowing religion to be taught in public school only if parents choose it, while still maintaining neutrality of the government in religious matters. Next topic is the Philippine education grants certain rights to parents, school personnel, schools, students, and teachers. The right granted to parents give them the right to take part in their child education, right to choose the kind of education, right to access school records and performance, right to participate in school activities and decision-making, right to be informed of school policies, rules and regulations, right to demand quality education. This means that parents are partners in education, not just observers. They can help shape schools' policies and work with teachers to improve learning. And law recognizes that education is a shared responsibility between the school and home. The second right is right granted to school personnel. The state ensures that they are treated fairly and protected, supported in their work. So, the right of school personnel is the right to free expression and participation, the right to be protected in performing their duties, the right to professional advancement, the right to fair compensation and working condition, the right to self-organization. The right granted to school personnel means that teachers and other school workers have the freedom, protection, and opportunities they need to perform their duties well and to grow professionally. The purpose is to promote the dignity and welfare of teachers and staff and to ensure a safe, fair, and supportive working environment. The third right is the right granted to schools. It means that every school, whether public or private, is given a legal rights and freedom to manage its own affairs and carry out its educational mission according to its goals and values as long as it follows the laws of the country. Example of the right of the laws of the schools: right to provide quality education, right to adopt their own system of governance, the right to enforce rules and discipline, the right to select students and staff, the right to enjoy academic freedom. So meaning, the third one, the right to school, is the right to provide a conducive learning environment, meaning they can set rules, policies, and standards necessary for effective teaching and learning. Also have the freedom to manage their internal affairs, such as creating rules, selecting students and teachers, and maintaining discipline, for as long as this align with national education policies and laws. Number 4 is the right of the students. Right to receive quality education, right to freely choose a career or course, right to choose guidance and counseling, right to participate in school activities and organization, right to free expressions, opinions. Meaning, this refers to the basic rights and privileges that all students in the Philippines are entitled to enroll in any educational system or any institution. The right to receive competent instruction. The right to receive competent instruction. Students have the right to be taught by qualified teachers and who can provide quality education and guidance. Right to freely choose a field of study, meaning students can select the course of subject they want to study as long as they meet the admission requirement. And also, right to school guidance and counseling services. Students are entitled to receive academic, personal, and career guidance from the trained counselors and advisors. Right to issuance of official certificates, diplomas, and transcripts. Those students who have completed requirements have the right to be given these official documents. Right to free expression of opinions and suggestions, meaning students can voice their ideas, suggestion, or criticism in a respectful or orderly manner. Also right to form or join organization. This means that students may organize or join clubs, groups, or associations that support their interest of welfare. All of these rights protect the student from unfair treatment, ensure access to quality education, promote freedom of expression, and encourage students' participation in school life. The last right is the right granted to teachers. Teachers are given legal rights, privileges, and protections so they can perform their duties effectively and with dignity. Example of rights of teachers: right to professional advancement, right to fair compensation and benefits, right to job security and due process, right to participate in policy making, right to self-organization, right to protect in performing duties. All of these rights protect students from unfair treatment, ensures the quality education, promote freedom of expression, and encourage student participation in school life. And teachers deserve the free expression of opinions and suggestion, has the right to be provided with free and suitable opportunities for professional growth. Teachers should receive fair and sufficient pay and benefits. Also, teachers have right to be part of decision making in their school, especially on matters that affect their duties, rights, and welfares. All of this right ensures that teachers are respected, fairly compensated, professionally developed, and given a vote in shaping educational policies. The next topic is the Philippine education as objectives. This means that the education system in the Philippines is guided by clear goals and purposes set by the government to develop learners into responsible, knowledgeable, and productive citizens. This objective serves as the direction and foundation for all schools, programs, and teaching activities in the country. Objectives of elementary education. Number 1. To provide the basic knowledge and develop the foundation skills, attitudes, and values, including moral and spiritual dimensions, to the child's personal development and necessary for living and in contributing to a developing and changing social milieu. This means that the knowledge, skills, attitude, and values development of the elementary education should equip the child not just academically but holistically, preparing them to live in a society and contribute meaningfully to a changing world. Second one is to provide learning experiences which increase the child awareness of and responsiveness to the changes in society and to prepare him for constructive and effective involvement. In the effect, help children understand and respond to social change, equity and justice issues so they can effectively participate in society rather than remain passive. Number 3. To promote and intensify the child knowledge of, identification with, and love for the nation and the people to which he belongs. This means helping young learners understand their country, feel proud to be Filipinos, and develop love and loyalty towards the nation and the people. Number 4. To promote work experiences which develops and enhances the child's orientation to the world and of work and creativity in order to prepare him to engage in honest and gainful work. Meaning, in this objective, it aims to prepare children early for the realities of working life by teaching them the value of work, creativity, and honesty, and so they can grow up ready to contribute productivity to society. The objectives of the secondary education. The number 1 is to continue to promote the objectives of elementary education, but shifting in emphasis from the mastery of basic tools of learning, expression, and understanding to the use and extension of the tools for further exploring and acquiring intellectual, social, moral, and physical concepts, ideals, attitude, and skills in order to develop the whole human being. Meaning, the objective of secondary education ang Batas Pambansa 232 Section 22 Paragraph 1 to 3 is the means the secondary builds upon what was begun in the elementary level, which is the values, basic skills, attitude, character formation, awareness of society. The second one is to discover and enhance, in addition, the different aptitude and interests of the individual student so as to equip him with skills of productive endeavor that thus prepare him to in the real world and or for further study to higher education. Meaning, in this objective, it simply means that secondary education should help each other identify what they are good at the interest in their aptitude and then help them develop those so they can either move on to higher education or become equipped with skills to work productively. Next is the objective of tertiary education. This tertiary education describes what a college and universities aim to achieve in developing advanced knowledge, skills, and values among students. Here are the objectives of tertiary education. Number 1, provide general education programs to broaden student intellectual and cultural horizon. Meaning, to develop well-rounded and skilled and responsible citizen who can contribute to the national progress. The second one is to train the nation's manpower in the skills required for national development. It provides a general education that strengthens national identity, cultural pride, moral values, and spiritual growth. The number 3 is to develop the professions that will provide leadership for the nation. So, it also trains the country's workforce with the skills needed for the developments, develops professional leaders. Number 4, advanced knowledge through research work and apply new knowledge for improving the quality of human life. So, meaning of this is who can guide the nation and advance knowledge through research to improve the quality of life and respond to society's changing needs. So, the next topic is all about the Philippine education course are under the regulation and supervision of the state. All courses offered in both public and private schools from the preschool to the tertiary levels, whether professional, technological, technical, or vocational, are regulated and supervised by the government. When we say regulation, it means that the government sets rules, policies, and standards for schools such as the curriculum, subject to be taught, teacher qualifications, school facilities, and grading system. All of these regulations is needed in a course of the school under the regulation. When we say supervision, means that the government checks and evaluates if schools are following these rules and providing quality education. The purpose of this is to ensure that education in the Philippines is of good quality, accessible to all, in line with national development goals, promoting value citizenship, and this means that when the Philippines education courses are under the regulation and supervision of the state because of the government oversees and controls how education is provided in the country. It also ensures that all schools, both public and private, follow national standards for curriculums, teaching, and quality of education. This supervision helps guarantee that education promotes public welfare and national development as mandated by the 1987 Philippine Constitution and Batasang Pambansa 232 Education Act of 1982. So, here are some examples of guidelines given by the government to be followed when applying to offer a certain course. MECS or DICS Order Number 26 Zeres of 1983 Policies and Standard for Teacher Education, Dix Order Number 15, Zeres of 1989 Policies and Standard for Dental Education, Dix Order Number 17 or Zeres 1989 Policies and Standard for Optometry. Number 4 is the Dix Order Number 119 Zeres of 1999 Policies and Standard for Medical Education. All of these guidelines given by the government was the course under regulation and supervision of the state. Next is the Philippine Education adopted the 6-year elementary course. Commonwealth Act Number 586 or Educational Act of 1940 is the legal basis of the 6-year elementary course, the double single session, the entrance age, the national support of elementary, and the compulsory attendance of children in the primary grades. Before, the elementary education lasted 7 years, but under the Education Act of 1940, the Commonwealth, it was reduced to 6 years. This course covers grade 1 to grade 6, which provides the foundation in reading, writing, arithmetic, and values education. It also became the standard length of elementary education in the country for many decades. The purpose of 6-year elementary course is to standardize basic education across the country, to provide enough time for children to learn fundamental skills such as reading, writing, mathematics, science, and good citizenship, to prepare students for secondary education, to ensure equal learning opportunities to all Filipino children. So by then, the Philippine government officially made the elementary education a 6-year program to make schooling more efficient, while ensuring students gain the essential knowledge and skills needed for the higher level of education. So nowadays, the Philippine education adopted the 6-year from grade 1 to grade 6. This is the standardized basic education in the country, and learn the fundamental skills like reading, writing, mathematics, science, and good citizenship. Topic is the Philippine education regulates tuition fee. Public elementary pupils and secondary school students are now free from paying tuition fees. The RA number 665, known as the Free Public Secondary Education Act of 1988, RA number 6139, was changed to PD 451, took effect in 1974. RA 6655 provides free tuition fee and other fees in all public schools in the Philippines. It ensures that every Filipino student can have access to high school education regardless of financial status. It aims also to promote equal educational opportunities to reduce dropouts due to poverty. So, the decree regulated increases in tuition fees as follows. In no case will the increase be more than 15% of the tuition fees during the previous years. 60% of the increase will go to increase of the salaries of the school personnel. 28% of the increase will be utilized to improve the facility of the school. Next topic is the Philippine education grants university status to qualified colleges. This means that the college has met certain high academies and institutional standards set by the Commission of Higher Education or CHED. Once approved, the college officially becomes a university and gains more academic freedom, authority, and responsibility. Also, the purpose of creating university status is to recognize schools and have achieved excellence in higher education. The goal of this section is to make sure that education is properly managed, schools meet required standards, and the system serves the interest of the Filipino people, and also to encourage research, innovation, and community involvement, and to ensure that universities serves as centers of knowledge and national progress. Government colleges and universities are created by means of legislation made by the legislative body of the land. More important prerequisite of this section is the operation of a recognition postgraduate course in liberal arts and sciences in education leading to a master's degree. The second is the operation of a 4-year undergraduate course in liberal arts and sciences. The operation of at least 3 professional colleges. The possession and maintenance of professionally administered library of at least 10,000 bound volumes of collegiate books. Section 34 of the 1992 Manual Regulation of Private Schools set the following requirements for university status. The school operates, among others, recognized tertiary level for degree programs or courses of study as follows. The 4-year course in Art and Sciences, EB or BS, a minimum of 4 other courses in the undergraduate level with government recognition, at least 3 of which are professional courses, at least 2 graduate level courses leading to a master's or doctoral degree, substantial evidence of a recognized strength in the arts, science, and humanities and sciences components of its undergraduate courses in the profession of disciplines recognized by the government and preferably accredited. C. A continuing quest for excellence and a commitment to a reasonable high standard of education demonstrated through the quality of its educational programs, outstanding achievement of its student, and excellent performance of its graduate, particularly in the government examinations. A dynamic research program unmanned by qualified and competent personnel, including the periodic publication of a scholarly journal. A creditable community extension program involving the community within its immediate service area and manned by experienced and service-oriented personnel. Act No. 1870, the law that created the University of the Philippines, or UP, passed on June 18, 1908. It was enacted by the Philippine Commission during the American period to provide. Let us proceed to the Philippine education promotes and protects the interests and welfare of its teacher. RE number 4670, also known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. This law was created to promote the social and economic status of teachers, protect their rights, and ensure their professional growth and dignity. Under this RA, the security of tenure. When we say security of tenure, this protects their job stability, or meaning teacher protects from being unfairly removed from their position. It ensures that their employment is stable, safe, and based on fairness and justice. That is security of tenure. Protect their job stability. Second is professional growth. This promotes professional development, meaning It focuses on helping teachers improve knowledge, skills, and teaching abilities so they can grow in their careers and provide better education to the student. That is professional growth, meaning it promotes the professional development of the teacher. The third one is salary and benefits. This promotes their economic welfare. So, teachers should earn enough to live decently and support their families. And teacher pay should increase when the prices of goods of living expenses rise. So, this is the salary and benefits of the teachers. Medical care and compensation, this is very important, guys, because this protects their physical well-being. Teachers and school workers and staff have the right to protect medical and dental attention for their well-being and must receive their salaries, benefit, and allowances that reflect their qualification, responsibilities, and work conditions. This is very important to all the teachers, the medical and the compensation. This protect their well-being. So freedom to organize. This protects their collective rights. This means that teachers have the legal right to form or join organization or unions to protect and promote their professional and personal interest without interference or fear of punishment. And so private school teachers personnel have the labor code to turn to. And also, let's now move on to the Philippine education teaches values formation. When we say values formation is the process of developing moral and social values that guide a person to become a good and responsible citizen. When we say Philippine teaches values formation, it means school helps students know what is right and what is wrong, develop respect, honesty, and discipline, strengthen love of God, family, country, and fellow men. Also, practice responsibility and good citizenship in daily life. The goals of this values formation is to build moral character. When we say moral character, it is meaning make the student upright, honest, and respectful. So, that is build moral character, being respectful, upright, honest, and good citizen. Second is promote social responsibility. When we say promote social responsibility, this also helps students care for others and to the community. Being responsible one. Number 3, strengthen national identity. This strengthen national identity help students teach love of country and pride of being a Filipino. To strengthen national identity. Last one is encourage spiritual and moral growth. This is much more important because this guides learners to live meaningful and ethical lives. Next is Philippine education promotes vocational education. When we say vocational education, it's a type of education that focuses on practical and hands-on learning instead of purely academic study. Practical and hands-on learning courses are educational programs that focuses on real-life skills and experiences rather than just classroom theory. These courses train students to do specific tasks or jobs using tools, equipment, and real-world application. This course is learning by doing courses that prepare students for specific careers of self-employment, usually offered in senior high school, technical vocational track, TISDA, or training centers. Vocational education is very important because it provides the middle-level manpower skills needed by the country. Example of technical and vocational courses are automotive technology, electrical installation and maintenance, welding technology or plumbing, electronics technology. The old Philippine legislation provides made into law the Act Number 3377, known as the Vocational Act of 1927, and changed by Act Number 3740. The main purpose of the Vocational Act of 1927 is to develop vocational and practical skills training among Filipinos, especially in agricultural, trades, and industries, in order to support national economic growth and prepare citizens for employment. Also, vocational education is designed to be short-term and skill-based. Now let's move on to the physical education promotes the physical, moral, spiritual, and social well-being of the youth. In the 1987 Philippine Constitution, Article 2, Section 13 states that the state recognizes the vital role of the youth in nation building and shall promote and protect their physical, moral, spiritual, intellectual, and social being. It shall inculcate in the youth patriotism and nationalism and encourage their involvement in public and civic affairs, meaning that the education in the Philippines aims to develop the whole person, not just the mind, but also the body, the character, values, and relationship of young people. This includes the physical well-being. When we say physical well-being, having a healthy body and taking care of it so you can live actively and comfortably. This means it helps students learn how to take care of their bodies and live healthy lives. Moral well-being is the state of being guided by good morals, conscience, and respect for others. It helps the youth develop good character and decision-making skills based on what is right and just. Spiritual well-being is the state of being connected to one's belief, values, and sense of purpose, often related to faith in God or higher power, but it can also mean having strong moral principles and inner strength. Spiritual well-being is having a peaceful heart, strong faith, and clear sense of right and purpose that guide how you live your life. Example is having faith or trust in God. The social well-being. Social well-being, having good relationship with others, and being able to live and work peacefully in a community. Social well-being is also being able to interact positively, cooperate, and communicate with other people. Example is being along with classmates, friends, and family, help others, and showing respect. The last but not the least is the Philippine Private Education receives assistance from FAPI. FAPI means Fund for Assistance to Private Education. November 5, 1968 was formally created by Executive Order Number 156 to implement the project agreement. The two governments therewith agreed to establish the Fund Assistance to Private Education and to allocate 24 million irrevocable just from the Special Fund of Education, authorized under U.S. Public Law 88-94 as initial capital, meaning this assistance of allocate 24 million is not changeable. And the main objective of FAPI is number 1, to provide financial assistance to private schools, meaning it helps private schools improve their facilities, programs, and services through grants of subsidies. Number 2, support government education program. This means that it implements and manages government programs like the Educational Service Contracting or ESC scheme, which give tuition subsidies to students who choose to study private schools. Number 3, promotes quality education. It encourages private schools to maintain high standard of education by supporting teacher training, seminars, curriculum development, and school improvement project. Number 4, strengthen public-private partnership in education. Means to ensure that private schools complement with public schools in providing access to quality education for all learners. Last one is enhance accessibility and equity. Through scholarship and subsidy programs, FAPI helps students from lower income families gain access to quality education. That all ends of my report. Thank you and have a good day. God bless us all.